Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 24 of What If Izuna Uchiha was Naruto Ancestor. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Was a Vampire that I posted on this channel, and go ahead and enjoy that. And over on Anime King, I post a new episode of What If Naruto had multiple people sealed inside of him. I also post a new episode of What If Naruto was neglected by everyone. So go ahead and check out that as well and enjoy, guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, guys. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Begin the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last part we left off, Tsunade came to visit Naruto, as it was strange at first for the both of them to talk to each other, seeing that he didn't really know her, even though she took care of him when he was much younger, as the both of them quickly bonded, as she told him about the solution to fix his eyes, a small amount of her grandfather's cell, and her blood to give him a blood fusion. She is a Senju as well, and she has the properties to heal as well, and that will heal his eyes. They will implant it in the cornea. Once they created a fully developed one for his other eye, seeing that it was only one eye that he brought. The eye was already full of Hoshirama's cell, the one that he brought them, the one from Danzo, but they didn't know that. Meanwhile at Konoha, Sasuke was looking tired and beaten up, as it was just acting, as it was like he was stressing. He told Hinata that he had a kunai in his hand, a paper tag attached to it, and he got so frightened in the battle, he accidentally dropped it. He jumped away in time, but the two Hyugas that were beside him got blown to pieces. That is why he told that story, as he told her that he's a murderer and he should explain to the Hokage and he will get locked up in jail, as he blamed himself 100%, as Hinata really fell for it, as she hushed him and told him no, that it was just a mistake, as Sasuke smiled, as he was going to use her like a pawn to achieve what he wants. As he told her, what if there was a world without any shinobis? Meanwhile, Naruto got a mission from Sarutobi to infiltrate the Sand Village and find out what is going on there. As Naruto went to the hidden sand, as he made his way through the border, as he then created 5 clones for them to go and gather information. As he was going through an alley, he then came up on a boy. Sand was swirling behind him, as Naruto realized who he was. It was Gaara, the Jinchuriki of the One Tail, as Gaara told him that mother wants your blood. Naruto was also suspicious of Kurama. He knew that Kurama was hiding something, but he didn't know exactly what it was, but he knew Kurama was not telling him something, and he wanted to know what it is. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself, so let's start this new episode. Naruto had a communication device in his ear, as all of the clones were in their right position. Initiate, code R, minimize, civilian casualty, Naruto said. The next second, 4 huge explosions went off in the Sand Village. As Naruto watched, 4 explosions went off at the same time. The very next seconds, a lot of alarms started to ring as hundreds of chakra signatures rushed toward the site of the explosion. Naruto also sends a cage, level ninja chakra signature going towards the explosion. That will keep the Kazekage and his force occupied. Now I only need to stop this guy before he transforms into his full Bichu state. If he can even do that, Naruto thought, analyzing Gaara. Gaara did not care about the explosions as he jumped towards Naruto. He seemed more interested in killing Naruto. Very well, said Naruto as he focused his eyes on Gaara. But Naruto easily sidestepped the punch coming at him. Before Gaara could counterattack, a solid kick in his back sent him sailing away. Not wasting any time, Naruto took out 4 hidden seals from his pants and threw them in other directions. "What are those?" asked Kurama. "Silence our seals. It will prevent any ninja from sensing our chakra or hearing any type of sound in the vicinity." "It will buy me some time to subdue him," said Naruto as he looked at a furious Gaara. As Naruto made the first move, he vanished as he reappeared in front of Gaara in an instant, sending a supercharged punch right in his face as Gaara was sent flying back. Fast was all that Kurama could think, as he surprisingly end there when Naruto appeared on Gaara's right side, as he sent Gaara crashing through a nearby wall with a powerful kick. As Gaara was smashed through the wall, Naruto reappeared behind him and delivered another powerful kick. How is this possible? Gaara is actually being overpowered? Thought Shikaku in shock. This boy is overpowering Gaara's defense with pure speed. Damn you, Kurama! Alright then, let's take it up a notch. "What's wrong, Gaara? Had enough already?" "Because I'm only getting warmed up," said Naruto as he landed on a rooftop near Gaara, who was slowly getting back up on his feet. "Get up," said Naruto. "You want my blood? Then fight for it." "Whose side are you on?" asked Kurama. "Damn him, my sand can barely protect me from his attacks," Gaara thought as his sand reformed itself. He was surprised that Naruto created a shadow clone, as it then transformed itself into a long, sharp sword. Naruto landed back on the ground as he gripped his sword and pointed towards Gaara. Gaara quickly opened his mouth as he fired a massive blast at Naruto. Naruto quickly channeled wind chakra in his weapon. "Wind slash," he said. The attack cut right through Gaara's wind attack, causing it to dissipate as the wind slash flew towards Gaara. But Gaara quickly jumped up in air as wind attack sliced through a house, tearing it to pieces. After avoiding the attack, Gaara extended his demonic sand arm forward to grab Naruto. Naruto resheathed his sword as he tilted his body as the arm passed him, as he then grabbed it, as he used his strength and spin Gaara around and throw him into a wall. "Shadow Clone Jutsu," Naruto said, as several Shadow Clones were formed, as they went straight towards Gaara. As they all went forward, but Gaara yelled, "Wind Style, Infinite, Sand Cloud Great, Breakthrough." A massive amount of sand and wind erupted, blowing and destroying the clones in one strike. Once all of the clones were destroyed, Gaara jumped on a wall. "Sand Shuriken," he said, as he swung his arm and fired a dozen sand shurikens. Naruto quickly redrew his sword again. "Flying Swallow Technique," said Naruto. The weapon got covered in wind chakra as Naruto used his sword and destroyed all the sand shurikens before they could hit him. When all of the sand shurikens were dealt with, Gaara jumped towards Naruto and released a blast of wind from his mouth as Naruto quickly ducked and rolled out of the way. As Naruto pulled out 3 shurikens as he threw them towards Gaara, but a tail emerged behind him and hit them all away. Naruto created a clone as the clone grabbed him by the shirt and twisted him around and threw him towards Gaara. As Naruto used his Sharingan and see-through Gaara's strikes, as he reappeared behind Gaara, as Naruto severed Gaara's tail, as it fell on the ground and turned into sand. As Naruto brought up his leg and delivered a powerful kick to Gaara's back, smashing him through 2 small houses. As Gaara cried out in pain. Naruto was quite intrigued when he didn't see any people in the houses. He focused his chakra as he realized they were hiding in the basements. So this is not the first time this Jinchuriki has gone on a rampage, Naruto thought. Naruto saw Gaara getting back on his feet as he was struggling to reform his Jinchuriki form, but he slowly built it around him. As Naruto jumped up in air and went through hand sign, water style, wild water wave. As Gaara looked up to see Naruto spewing out a large stream of water towards him. At the same time, a second Naruto appeared at his left and fired several blasts of water from his mouth towards him. When the attacks hit, Gaara was able to withstand them thanks to the sand that covered his body. But when it ended, another Naruto appeared right in front of him and punched him, as Gaara was sent flying through 3 walls this time. As Gaara felt intense pain, as he didn't understand how was this so painful, as his sand just shattered away like it was nothing. What did he do? What's going on? What's happening? How did he break through my sand so easily? Why didn't it absorb the force of the punch? Gaara asked himself, panicking. As Naruto appeared, your sand is fast and strong, but when it's wet, it's no better than mud. Impossible. He actually found a way to defeat Gaara's sand defense and make it worthless. said Shikaku. Take that, you stupid raccoon, thought Kurama proudly. Now I'm going to end this, said Naruto, as he went through some long complex hand signs. As Kurama sensed Naruto gathering some large amount of moisture from the air. Even though this was the sand, the desert, Naruto was still able to draw the surrounding water that was in the air, as it would be enough. Water style, Naruto said. Water Dragon Bullet! A dangerous dragon formed around him that was made out of water, as it then dashed forward towards the injured Gaara. Naruto didn't finish right there, as he went through another set of hand signs, as he pointed his two fingers towards the dragon. Lightning spark, he said, as the lightning engulfed the water, as the lightning cackled around it. Gaara's eyes widened in terror, as he tried to move, but he could only move a few steps because of his injuries. As the attack struck him with tremendous force, that sent him flying through several houses and slammed into a stone wall. Kurama was quite impressed with the battle. It was one of those times that he was reminded, despite being 15 years old, Naruto was one of the most powerful shinobis of this world. As Naruto walked up towards the injured Gaara who was lying on the ground. What are you going to do? Asked Kurama. As Naruto stepped forward. A little house cleaning, said Naruto, as he activated his Mangekyou and looked straight into Gaara's eyes. Gaara soon found himself standing in a dark landscape. He looked around and saw Naruto standing beside him, but Naruto wasn't looking at him. Instead, he was looking at a giant Shikaku in front of him. Hello, Shikaku, said Naruto. Later that night, inside of Konoha, Sakura was looking down at the grave, Choji Akimichi, as she wiped away a tear from her eye. As seeing this made her angry and sad at the same moment. She felt so much emotions, as she just wanted the old days to be back. She then heard a voice. One day, I will make this world a peaceful place. As she didn't have to turn around to see who it was, as it was Sasuke. She then tilted her head, as his hands were in his pockets. Don't worry, one day, you will never have to cry again, he said, as she was surprised. As Sasuke then turned to walk away, there was something about her. At first he hated her because she was so annoying, but she had grown up and become a true kunoichi. Even though he was using Hinata for his plans, he had killed his own comrades in battle. He couldn't watch her sad or cry. He stopped when she hugged him from the back. Sakura, Shh, just stay here with me, she said. Sasuke clenched his fist tightly. Those simple words. It was breaking through all of his barriers. Every part of his body was telling him to let go of everything and just kiss the girl that was hugging him. Maybe he really liked her after all. A sweet smile came on his lips. This feeling in his heart was one of the reasons why he had to let her go. After all, darkness and light could not exist together, and if they tried, the light would be overwhelmed by the darkness. As he could no longer live in a world where Sakura and Naruto were constantly suffering, he could live in a world where him hold back all of his feelings just to make them happy. Maybe the world will remember him as a monster after he's completing his plan, but at least he would create a peaceful world for her. Total destruction of the ninja world. This was the only dream he was living for. He then held onto her hands and removed them, as Sakura looked confused, as she looked at his face, waiting for him to explain. Sakura, I have to go, he said. You sure? She asked, as she received a nod. A small smile came on her face as he started to walk away. As he then stopped. I am really glad that I met you, he said, as he gave her a short and sweet smile. But the path of happiness is not meant for me, he thought, as he disappeared in the sunshine, leaving Sakura holding on to her chest as she felt so much emotions. As she was happy. She was happy in a long while. Seeing that smile brought joy to her life. Meanwhile, Gaara was looking at Naruto. Naruto didn't seem scared or anything, as he was looking at the giant Shikaku. Shikaku raised his tail as Gaara closed his eyes, because he knew resistance against Shikaku is useless. Gaara waited for the attack to strike him. It was just like Shikaku to vent out his anger on Gaara, not allowing him to sleep, driving him mad with blood rage, killing, and pushing everyone away. But Gaara didn't feel anything. He didn't feel any pain, as he was shocked when Shikaku had frozen, and Naruto was standing in front of him, as Gaara opened both eyes. "Silence, beast," Naruto said. "Naruto, maybe," but Naruto cut off Kurama. "Kurama, stay out of this. I sympathize with you Bijus. But you have no right to torture your Jinchuriki. We were as unlucky as you were. I'm going to teach this animal a lesson." As Kurama went silent. "Human, I will devour your soul. Here I come," said Shikaku in an excited tone as he rushed forward. But Shikaku stopped as fear was on his face as Gaara noticed his tail fall to the ground. "What's the matter? Can't attack? You're up against a little human. What's wrong, Ichibai?" he asked. "What did you do to me?" asked Shikaku as he tried to move, but he only found himself being subdued more and more. "Or have you find out that only those who's willing to be killed should think about killing others?" Naruto asked as he raised one of his fingers toward Shikaku. Kurama and Gaara watched as Shikaku's eyes changed in color. "Naruto Uzumaki commands you. Kneel." "Yes, your majesty," said Shikaku. Gaara was sure that this was a dream as Shikaku kneeled in front of Naruto. Kurama saw Naruto panting and blood leaking from his eyes, but even then, the boy is still weak, but he still can subdue Shikaku so easily. How is that even possible? Thought Kurama. "What are you?" asked Gaara. "If this boy can subdue Shikaku, who has been tormenting him for years, then what will he do to him?" Naruto turned as he removed his face mask, as Gaara saw the blood coming down from his eyes, and those red eyes sent shivers down his spine. As Gaara stepped back as Naruto started to walk towards him. "Stay away from me," said Gaara, with fear in his voice, as Naruto chuckled. "It seems that you still have some reason to live," said Naruto calmly, as he stepped in front of Gaara. "What did you do to Shikaku?" asked Gaara nervously. Watching that giant raccoon kneel like a dog still surprised him. "That creature won't trouble you anymore. He will be your pet from now on." As Gaara narrowed his eyes after hearing that. "What do you want from me?" questioned Gaara, as Naruto looked into his eyes with his Mangekyou. For a few moments nothing was said, as Naruto stared into Gaara's eyes with a sad look on his face. "So, they did the same thing to you, as they did to me. Such hypocrites," said Naruto, as his Mangekyou Sharingan spun dangerously as his chakra level started to rise. "We're Jinchuriki, this is our destiny," said Gaara, as he knew fighting against this boy was useless. "No," Naruto said. "What?" said Gaara. "If you had the strength, then you could have prevented this. If you had power, you could have stopped this," Naruto said, as he then turned and slowly walked back towards Shikaku. Gaara watched curiously as Naruto stepped in front of Shikaku. "Are you going to kill me?" Gaara asked. Said Naruto. That was his only response. After a while of silence, Naruto spoke. "You have yearned for a family, haven't you? Search for one who will understand you, who can accept you as a human instead of a monster or a weapon," said Naruto. "How did you?" Gaara said, as Naruto cut him off and turned towards him. "I am Naruto Uchiha, Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. I am like you, Gaara," Naruto said with a smile. "The Kyuubi? I see," said Gaara. "I'm not going to kill you, Gaara. Unlike the others, I can understand the pain that you're going through, everything that you feel." "You're nothing like me," said Gaara, as Naruto turned towards Shikaku, as a small flash of scream just appeared, showing Gaara everything about Naruto's life, the mobs chasing after him, everything before he met Kakashi, and Kakashi coming into his life, and him making friends at the academy. As Gaara saw the flashback stop, as Naruto appeared beside him with his hand resting on his shoulder. "I can give you everything you desire. I'll be your family. I'll be your brother. Or you can continue to serve people who hate your very existence, and continue being a monster. Just like my parents, your father sealed this animal inside of you that kept tormenting you for years." A small tear came from Gaara's eye, as Naruto gave him a warm smile, as that tore apart every one of Gaara's barrier towards his heart. "Father, brother, friend, I'll be everything for you," said Naruto. Kurama was stunned with the scene happening in front of him. Was this really Naruto? Just as he thought he knew everything about the boy, something new comes up. "I will grant you power to make you strong enough to fight against any injustice. In return, I only want one thing," said Naruto. "What do you want?" asked Gaara. "Swear your allegiance to me. You will fight only for me. Not for any village, not for any Kage, not for anyone else. The power of kings will make you lonely, but as long as we're together, you won't have to fear anything or anyone. Because I won't let anything happen to my brother," said Naruto. Gaara's gaze shifted towards the kneeling Shikaku. The animal that had tormented him for years was now at this boy, Naruto, mercy. As Gaara stepped forward and gave Naruto a small hug. As Naruto returned the hug, "Very well, I accept," Gaara said. Time skip. Kakashi was beyond surprised, as he was currently talking to Yamato, as Yamato told him that he has a SS rank mission. This was even bigger than the Hokage. This was from the Daimyo. Naruto defection as raised concerns. Questions are being raised about the power of Konoha and whether it is strong enough to defend the Fire Country. "We have gotten reports that a Daimyo of the Sand and the Stone are maybe planning an alliance," Yamato said. As Kakashi grabbed him by the shirt, "The Anvus are loyal to the Hokage. You can't get involved in this mess. And don't drag me in it. If Hiruzen found out that you're secretly collabing with the Daimyo." As Yamato cut him off, "What if I tell you Hiruzen won't be Hokage for too long?" "You mean," said Kakashi nervously. As Yamato nodded, "I'm afraid the Imperial Court has lost all confidence in Hiruzen. They think that he has grown too old and soft. Their argument being that if he allows a child like Naruto to kill so many Anvu and steal a Forbidden Scroll, then what's the worth of allowing Konoha to exist? You know very well that Konoha power pale into the comparison of Fire Country. The Daimyo army being weaker than our ninja, but it is 10 times larger. If things are not handled quickly, Konoha could be replaced by another village," Yamato said. "The Daimyo is a spineless coward he won't dare," said Kakashi. "You're right, the Daimyo is a scared and weak old man, but that is not the case for Princess Karen, the 13th heir to the throne and the eldest daughter of Fire Daimyo. She's a cold-hearted bitch who is very likely to become the next Empress of Fire Nation. The fact that she was involved in the murder of 10 of her siblings was a motive that to prove that she wanted the throne, even though they never found anything on her. She practically controlled the Imperial Court and the army. 2 days ago, she approached me with a proposition. Kakashi got a real bad feeling. He had heard about Karen. She's the only royal heir to use chakra. At only the age of 17, she took control of the Imperial forces and participated in the Third Great Shinobi War, while the rest of her siblings preferred to hide in the royal palace. She was a hardliner and would not stop until her ambitions were achieved. And the fact that she was a student of Danzo Shimura was troubling news. After Minato died, she and Danzo had wanted Orochimaru to be named the next Hokage, but once considered young and naive by her father and his supporters. Ultimately, Hiruzen was made Hokage again, and she took it as an insult to her and her teacher Danzo. One by one, the Fire Daimyo supporters who had supported Hiruzen's rise, they started to go missing until none of them remained, as Kakashi had a good idea who made his disappearance possible. "Kakashi, she know the truth," said Yamato. If Kakashi was shot before, he was now mortified. "Tenzo, you told her?" As Tenzo stepped back. "No," he said. "She already knew. She's about to be named the next leader of Fire Country, and recent events has placed both Konoha and Hiruzen in her bad books. Once she is given command, the first thing she will do is sack Hiruzen and merge Konoha with the Fire Nation. Our village can be wiped out. Now I knew why Danzo was so confident with his coup. Even if Root had been able to topple Hiruzen and take over Konoha, Danzo would still need approval from the Imperial Court. So this was a bastard true plan with Karen to back him up. The coup would be successful, but Naruto screwed that plan up when he single-handedly wiped out Root," said Kakashi, as he saw the picture clearly now. "Yes, she lost her control over Konoha, and she also lost her teacher. Now she has control over the largest and strongest army in the world, but she doesn't have control over the village, due to Hiruzen. The situation is extremely fragile, and Karen is not someone who Konoha should mess with at this time. If we don't handle this in a rebellion, we'll start in the Fire Country, Yamato said. What do you want from me? Asked Kakashi. Well, Karen wants to remove Hiruzen, but she can't assassinate him because it will directly point fingers at her. So she adopted another approach. Karen has proposed full immunity to Naruto if he testify that he eliminate Root on Hiruzen orders and murder Danzo. But that would change nothing. Danzo was revolting, it was a crime, said Kakashi. Not in her eyes. She would push the step that the Hokage eliminated 300 talented Root agents that were served to protect Konoha and the Fire Country. And they will cut off any idea of a coup. And the fact that Hiruzen and Danzo never look eye to eye, they will think that was a motive for him to allow Naruto to eliminate Danzo. And also, she will bring up the safety of the Fire Country, saying that the 300 Roots could have protected the Fire Country, and now with them gone, the country could be invaded by others. I see, said Kakashi, sadly. The way I see it, Hiruzen, Hokage's days are outnumbered. Karen will come after us. Our choice will determine the future of the village. My loyalty lies with the people of the village and the village rather than the Hokage only. The Uchiha massacre and the Root massacre and the defection of our only Jinchuriki, combine these reasons, she has enough reasons to remove Hiruzen. As for you, she wanted to convince Naruto to surrender. You're the one who raised him and he trusts you immensely. As Kakashi know what to say. Kakashi, you and I both know it, said Yamato. If Naruto finishes his mission and come back, the people will still hate him. But she is going to give Naruto full immunity if he surrender. With her power, she could actually make the people believe that Naruto was just a young ninja who was used by Hiruzen. That would earn him the sympathy of the people, even make him a hero. Karen wants to meet him at Hama Ninja. 9 days from now, it will be a secret meeting. Kakashi was silent for a few minutes. Naruto was caught right in the middle of this mess. Going up against Karen would put him in a lot of danger, but if he went with this plan, then Hiruzen. He then remembered what Hiruzen did to Naruto, removing Ren's memories. And Hiruzen did it without any remorse. Don't worry, Kakashi. The princess only wanted to remove Hiruzen, and she wanted to make you the next Hokage. What? Said Kakashi. Calm down, think about it. If we do this, Konoha will be safe from her wrath. And if you were the next Hokage, then you could easily bring back Naruto. So, what shall it be? Asked Yamato, as he offered Kakashi's hand. Time skip. At Seyasukuma Island, it was a bright morning as the sun shined high in the sky. In a small room of a luxury hotel, a beautiful woman opened the window. Cool gusts of winds blew through the window, hitting her face. As Kurenai smiled, as she saw the people. Kakashi had been right when he said that this island never slept, as it was early in the morning and everyone was already doing their daily work and activities. She had just arrived in this beautiful place last night and already she loved it. But it was going to be difficult to find Naruto in a place that is crawling with at least 1 million people. But she was a ninja, and on top of that, she was his girlfriend. That did give her some advantage in her search, as she knew a lot about him, things where he might go or things that he might do. As she then headed towards the bathroom, as she was going to soak in the bathtub for now. Meanwhile, at Nono, she was surprised when a badly bleeding Naruto came through the door, as his eyes were bleeding a fountain of blood. He was also coughing up blood. She immediately rushed towards his side and took him to the room. When they came face to face with a beyond shocked Tsunade. Tsunade was in her final stages of finishing the clone eye, which they were making for Naruto. But she set everything aside as she rushed towards him, as he lay down on the bed. I'm tired, said Naruto, as Tsunade started to heal his eyes. Of course you are. Just what kind of mess did you put yourself in this time? Nono asked. Victory at any cost, said Naruto, with a small chuckle, but Tsunade glared at him. That kind of ideology will get you killed. Survival is an important part of the mission. What good is the mission if you're not alive to see it, she said, as she realized the damage was dangerous. He would need that surgery in a month or two, because if he don't get it, he will go completely blind. As Naruto slipped into a peaceful sleep, as Tsunade watched her nephew. While it was true that they were getting closer, she really didn't know nothing about his path. Just what kind of person would allow this much damage to their body for the sake of the mission? More than that, the words she heard from him scared her. Victory at any cost? He didn't care if he was alive to witness the good things that he had done for Konoha and his loved ones. Time skip. A few hours later, the sound of birds chirping waking from his slumber as Naruto opened his eyes. There was no sign of damage on any part of his body. "You should be more careful," said Kurama. Naruto had not left any stone unturned to get Gaara on his side, going as far to use his damaged Mangekyo Sharingan that they told him not to use in the first place. But Kurama was happy as Gaara also helped Naruto escape and thank him, seeing now that Gaara can control the power of Shikaku. As Naruto got up and walked towards the cupboard, as he picked cargo pants and a light grey shirt, as he went over and saw the bird, as he just gave the bird a nod as it disappeared in a puff of smoke. "Leave it to Itachi to ruin my evening," Naruto said. "What are you going to tell him?" asked Kurama, as Naruto tucked his sword in the sheath and hanged it on his back. "The situation in the sand," Naruto said. "What about your meeting with Gaara?" "That's none of his business," Naruto said, as he then headed off. Meanwhile, Kurenai was currently dressed in blue shorts and a dark t-shirt. She has been searching for Naruto for the last 5 hours, as she decided to go to the nearest giant restaurant. People in this town were very loudmouthed, and that's a good place to gather information and find out anything. As she finished her soft drink and took off to the restaurant, hoping that she would get some news on Naruto, and hoping that she would see him, as she would be happy if she could see him today. As Kurenai stepped inside, as all the men started to ogle at her, as their females started to scold them, but Kurenai just chuckled. She was on vacation, as she started to sway her hips a bit more, making the girls glare at her with so much jealousy. As she walked straight to the receptionist area, she was greeted by a young red-haired woman. "How may I help you, miss?" the woman asked. But she then froze and Kurenai raised her finger towards her. When she was sure that the woman was in her genjutsu, she started her investigation while keeping an eye on her surroundings. As she pulled out her sketchbook, "Have you seen this boy here?" she asked, as she was surprised when she received a nod. "Yes, his name is Yashina. He frequently visits here with a girl," said the receptionist, as she had no idea what was happening to her or why she was giving out someone information. Kurenai eyes narrowed on the last part. Girl? Surely he wouldn't bring just any woman to this restaurant. Maybe it was the sake of the mission, or her heart sank on the mere thought of that dreadful possibility. It was fair to say their last meeting in Wave, they didn't part on a happy note. Did he really move on? Was he in love with someone else? She need answer. "Do you know what this girl name is?" Kurenai asked. "Yes, her name is Haku. Can you get me the videotapes of this place, please? And be discreet," said Kurenai. As the woman nodded and headed off to the back, as Kurenai was feeling all type of emotions: anger, jealousy, suspicion, fear, more anger. What troubled her was that she never felt like this before. She knew that Naruto was handsome and kind, and if only the females of Konoha had seen past, thinking that he was a demon, all of them would be over him. Did someone else realize how special he was? Was she more beautiful than me? Kurenai wondered. Whatever problem they had, they could have sorted out. Who was this woman? As she clenched her fist. But her rational mind was telling her to calm down. This could be just a one of Naruto's act to gain information. Or, what if it wasn't? She and Naruto has been through so much, share each other pain. Was he really throwing her away for another woman? So many questions with no answer. She then stopped as the woman returned the tape and passed it to her, as she then booked that evening for tomorrow. As she walked out of the restaurant, if she watches tape and it's what she thinks it is, then the world will have one less Uchiha to deal with. And yeah guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and go ahead and check out the other what ifs that I posted. And thank you all for your help and your support, and yeah, I'm all for now guys. See you tomorrow. Peace.